please allow me to give you a quick tutorial on using one of the new features that Creative Fabrica is offering. If you don't know me, I am Corinne Blackstone and I teach easy to follow Cricut and craft tutorials. If you're not already subscribed here on YouTube, make sure that you are subscribed. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content. It is completely free to subscribe. Now, like I said, we're going to be checking out this new program that Creative Fabrica is offering us. This is something that I would say looks really intimidating at first, but if you've used Cricut Design Space, you're going to be okay. And also if you've used Canva, you're going to be really okay. This is actually a lot easier than it looks, and this is going to give us a lot of options when it comes to making really fun designs. So first, let me just show you the front page here. You have a spot where you can click Start Designing. We also have a spot where if you've made projects, they'll be there, but I haven't done anything yet, or at least saved anything. And then you have a Create Design option, but we also have templates. So I'm going to click Templates really quick, just so you can kind of see what we're looking at. So right now, they're just going to give you some that they recommend. So a lot of these are going to be kind of Valentine's themed because that's the time of the year that I'm making this video. So you can see here that you have a ton of different options. So if I want to make like a birthday invitation, I can just search for birthday and you'll see here that we get some options. So you can click on it and it's going to open up that template, and then you can design around this template however you want to. Now, I'm not going to actually use this because I want to show you how to make your own design, but this is a really great option if you just want to get started, kind of play around, use a template, mess around with it. If you mess it up, it's totally fine. So what we're actually going to do though is I want to just create a design. So I'm going to click on Create Design, and it's going to open up the studio design here. Now, right up here, we can actually change the sizing of our design, and this is measured in pixels, but you can absolutely like change it to, whatever you want. Now, I did play around with this a little bit, so you'll see here, but this is fine. We'll go with the 1200 by 1200 pixel. If you want to get rid of this, you can just close it so that it's out of the way. Now, what's nice too is we have a dark mode. So if you click on the little moon over here in the left-hand side, or that's the right, I know my left from my right, that's the right-hand side, you can actually change it from the light mode or the dark mode. Use whichever one really works best for your eyesight. I am a dark mode kind of girl. I don't like a lot of brightness, so I do prefer to design in dark mode when possible. Now, what's great here is you can still access all of the templates. So you can kind of see they've got all sorts of stuff, and you can there's book covers. There are so many things to choose from. So you can definitely mess with that. There's t-shirt templates, all sorts of stuff. But we can actually make our own designs by using all the little elements and things over here. You can upload your own designs. You can draw. You can use patterns, backgrounds, photos. There are different elements that you can use. You can add text. You can access graphics, and we can use their AI. So what's really fun is with the AI, you can actually kind of just tell it what you want it to show you. So let's have a cat dinner party wearing fancy hats and dresses. We'll see what this does. I'm not really great with AI, but it is kind of fun to play around with. So I just kind of made something silly up just to see what AI will come up with. Now, AI does take some practice and some time to get used to telling it exactly what you want it to do, but this should generate us something kind of silly. So here we have our cat dinner party. So if we want to use any of these images, you can just simply click them and it will add it over into your design here on your white screen. Now, these are pretty freaking weird. Let's be honest. They're pretty weird, but I did tell it something weird. So cat dinner party wearing fancy hats. We're going to get some weird stuff. But you can see here we do have some designs. I just kind of wanted to show you that with AI, you can play with that. We're not going to use AI today, but that's an option that you can use with Studio, and it's fun to play with. You can also go under graphics, and you can actually search for a graphic. So let's just look for cat again. We'll just kind of stick with the cat theme. And you can see here there's a ton of cat images that you can choose from. And if you want to use one of them, you can simply just click it, and it again adds it on to your little design area, that white square. You can add as many as you want, do whatever you want to with them. You can kind of move them around on your screen, whatever you want to do. But what you're going to notice is that these are transparent PNGs. What's great about these are perfect for using with DTF and UV DTF printing. Now again, I'm going to play with this and make you an actual design, but I want to show you some of the things that we can actually get to. Now here's another great thing is that we can actually use some text. They have some options that are already like pre-made here, or you can just add your own text field. So let's just put my name, and then you can go in and change that text. Now, if you've used Canva before, this is pretty similar to the way Canva works with a lot of the different types of settings and things like that. You can change your font over here. There's a ton to choose from, lots of different options. Now, I will say that it doesn't give you a preview, which I wish it did, but that's okay. You can just click on it to see what it looks like. The other options you have, you can change your font size. You can change whether it's italic or bold. You can underline it, all the normal things that you can do with text. But you can also change your transparency of your text, which is really fun. And then you can also change what's called border weight. So you can actually make your text a little bit thicker if you want to, if you're, playing with a text that you want just a little more thickness to. So that's definitely a great option and something that really is helpful. You also have these little align tools, which is great. You can align it center to the page. You can align it all the way to the right, all the way to the left, top, bottom, whatever you want to do. Easy enough to do with your text. But again, we'll come back to that. Our next thing is we have elements. So there's all sorts of elements that you can choose from. There's going to be more added, I'm sure, as time goes on. But right now it's just a few things, but we do have lots of shapes to choose from. We have lots of different little things to use, and you can use any of these within your design. We also have photos, which are great if you wanted to use it to create, an ad or something. Because of what I do, I don't really use photos a lot, but you can definitely go in here, play around with these photos, use what you want to use. And what's great about the studio is that anything you create in here does come with a commercial use license. So if you've created something using this background, and let's just kind of stretch it out a little bit so it covers, and you added, I don't know, this little Cupid guy, and you wanted to sell something that had this design on it. I don't know what you would sell with it. Let's say a tumbler. Let's say you made a tumbler wrap. You could do that. You're covered with your commercial use license, meaning it's legal to sell the things that you made with this. So that's really nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and again just kind of delete everything because we're not going to use any of that. Then you can play with your background. Now what's kind of cool here is you have background images that you can use, but you also can just choose colors, which is great. And you can use the little dot to like change the colors. I don't know what to call it, like the advanced colors. You can also use the eyedropper if you have an image here and you want to take a color from that image. You can easily do that. And then you also have where you can put your hex code in. So if you have specific brand colors that you use, it's a great way to do that. So that's definitely like an option. We also have patterns, which there's quite a few here to choose from. You can search in here as well, but you can really just use these patterns kind of however you want to. We're going to create an invitation and I'm going to show you how easy that is to truly do. But I just think this is such a fun, like bunch of patterns to choose from. Really cute ones. You've got a little bit of everything. You could scroll for quite a while there. And you can also upload your own media. So you can upload things that you've gotten from other websites. You can upload things from CreativeFabrica. You can even upload your own pictures to use for this. So if I went to upload files and I'm just going to go and find one of my pet pictures, I've got a million pictures of my pets. So let's just pick like a random, let's pick that one of my dog. I don't know. I just picked something random. So once we've done that, you'll see that your image is in your uploads. You can click on it and add it to your little workspace here. Now there's lots of options. You can play with transparency, you can flip it, you can crop it, delete it, you can cut things out or duplicate. You can repeat on the background, which if you click that, it just makes the background all your pictures, which is pretty fun. And you even have an undo button. So if you don't want to do that, you absolutely, can. Just leave it as is. There's a ton of great ways to edit your photos as well. I haven't played around with it too much, but you can do things like remove the background, edit the color, things like that with your photos, which I think is a really great product that you can use this with. So I'm going to go ahead and again delete that. We don't need it. Then you also have the draw option. So if you wanted to actually physically draw something, I'm not good at a drawing, so we're just, kind of messing around with it. But you could really make kind of anything that you want to using this draw tool. So that's just something that you can absolutely do, play around with, all those things. So I'm going to come back and we're going to just kind of go through and make a little invitation, just because I think that's a great introductory item to this new software. And I'm going to go kind of quick, but I'm going to try to keep it so you guys can follow along. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to find a background, and I'm going to use like a floral background. So I'm going to search for floral. You can kind of search for anything that really fits into whatever, you want to make your invitation or your design. So I'm just going to kind of see if I see anything that really like speaks to me. This one's perfect. It'll work. And I actually really like that it already kind of has this square area to color in. But what I kind of want to do is make that a little bit less blue and a little more obvious that I have writing in there. So I want to go to my elements and I'm going to get a square. So I'm just going to search the word square. And all I have to do is if I go down under shapes, you'll be able to find just a basic square. Now I'm just going to make this square so that it fits inside this square that's already on our sheet. Now you'll notice that I'm going to have to kind of make it a little more of a rectangle, which is totally fine. But I'm just going to make it so it fits in. I want to make it just a little bit bigger here. That looks pretty good. Now obviously I don't want it bright blue, so you can just go up here and change the color. I'm going to make it like a cream color. Now I could leave it like that and it looks okay, but I kind of want to change that transparency so that you can still see the flowers and the blue behind it, but that it's just a little bit of a different color. That's a great option to use with this software because you can really make things stand out. So now you'll see that we've got this square kind of like it dulls down the flowers a little bit. It dulls down that background. You can do whatever you want with it, honestly. Now let's add some text. So I think what I'm going to do is let's use this one first, this little already preset one. So let's say that it's going to be Corinne's, and then we'll do the steakhouse word. We'll change to my birthday. And we'll just call it birthday party. And then I want that all on one line. So I just have to extend that box a little bit so that the whole word will fit. Now it's not centered on the word Corinne's, which is fine because we can easily do that. Oops, I didn't mean to grab that square. Now let's say that you didn't want to grab that square and it happens. All you have to do is go to right here on your layers and click the lock button, and it's going to make it so that you can't move that square. I'm trying to click on it. I can't move it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to move that ever again. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of play around with this a little bit. And let's just make this a little bigger. I think the color is actually really good, but let's say that we want to use maybe more of a color from the background. Like I said before, we can do that. You just click on the color button, click on this little dropper, and then when you move the dropper around, it's going to give you kind of the options to choose some colors from the design. So we can do that for both of these. So let's choose, I'm just going to kind of choose a couple colors so that it's, there we go. Okay, that's fine. It's not like the prettiest thing, but it's kind of just to show you what I want it to look like. Now I'm going to add some more text to this. So this time I'm just going to add a text field, and we're going to say that it's going to be at 124 Main Street, anywhere, USA, and we'll do it on February 14th, 2 p.m. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit longer because I want to fit the whole word into that information. And again, I'm going to change that text color. Now again, you can choose colors from down here if you want to. You can kind of do whatever you want as far as your colors are concerned, but you'll obviously want to make it so it's, visually appealing so people can read it. Now again, if you want to use the same color, I would just use the little gradient tool here and find the color, and then voila. Then I just kind of want to mess with this a little bit. I don't want it all to look, too messy. So I'm just going to put it over onto one side. I'm going to move it over here. And then I'm going to add another text box, and you can kind of play with like fonts and stuff to really make it a little more interesting. But I'm going to add just another text box really quick, and you can just click add text field. And then I'm just going to put RSVP to me. And then we'll just put a phone number. And then again, choosing that text box, color and then just changing it to whatever color you want it to be. And then I like to kind of play around with sizing and things like that just to make it a little more interesting. Now we do have this blank space over here, which you could fill in with a floral or something like that, whatever you want to do, but we can definitely use AI. So let's try doing, let's try a pastel watercolor balloon bunch in pinks, purples, and yellows and see what happens. Who knows? This could work. Now you'll see here we do have some balloon bunches. I mean, they're not perfect, but we can definitely use one of them. It's fine. Like, it's not going to be exactly the right colors, but that's okay. I think this one's pretty cute. I am going to size this down a bit because it's a little bit big, and then I don't like the way it's like flipped. So all I simply have to do is I can just flip it the other direction. And then here's what's really cool about it too. It's a little bright compared to the rest. All I have to do is turn that transparency down a bit, and then it blends a lot better to that design. Now again, would I probably use that? Unlikely, but it's an option to just kind of fill in some of this space if you wanted to have something a little bit spacier. Now again, I can change the colors to maybe make that like tie in a little bit better, which you can play with. So like if I change these to both purple, I think that actually ties in a lot better now. So again, just kind of play with it. Figure out the way you want your designs to look. There's not really a wrong way. But once we're happy with our design, all we simply have to do is click the share button, and it's going to ask you what you want to do. You can either export or download. We'll just download it, and you have some options. You can use it as a PNG, a JPG, or a PDF. Now, if I'm going to print it, I do tend to like to go with PDF because I do think that you're going to get a really good quality. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm just going to save it as birthday invite. And simply click save, and I'll open the PDF so you can see what it looks like on the screen. Now it is going to look really, really big. So what I want to do is if I'm going to print these out, you can go in and let me change the color really quick to color. Under more settings, you can change like the size of your print. So you can really size it down to fit the size you want, but you can also do this with PNGs too. Like I said, there's ways to print these so that they actually like fit correctly. If you really wanted a specific size, I would save it as a PNG. But there you go. There is your very easy to open PDF. Now again, I'll save it as a PNG so you can see it that way too. Again, I can just save it as birthday invite, save it as a PNG. We can open that birthday invite one, and voila, we have it. Now again, you can go in and print this. You can send it off to a printer. You can upload it to places like Vistaprint or Zazzle and have them print it. But there's a lot of great things that you can do with the studio, including everything from making business cards, designing them, and then sending them off to a printer or printing them yourself. You can create just about anything you want, including things that you may want to use with UV-DTF or DTF, sublimation, all the things. Now, if I want to make a new design, I will say make sure that you title this. So I'm going to call this birthday invite tutorial. That way I just know what it is. So let's say, okay, I'm cool with that. Like, those are my designs. Now I just want to make a new design. I can just click add new design. What's cool here is you got all these different sizes that you can choose from. You can also make your own sizes. And then there's all these ones that are like automatically like sized for certain things. Now, I will say you want to double check with these types of things like the mugs. The wraparound mug being 199 by 96 seems huge, which definitely is. Kids bookmarks. I mean, you'll want to double check your sizing with what you're using as a blank, but these are great options. We also have things for social media. You've got online and digital stuff, Google ads, wedding stuff. You've got business things. So there's a lot to go through. I would highly recommend you play around with Studio, see what you think. I'm going to link it down below for you. If you have any questions or run into any problems, please, by all means, let me know in those comments down below. I will be definitely doing a lot more with Studio and learning a lot more in depth. One other thing I do want to show you before we go. Just like in Design Space, we can actually drag the pieces here, our parts of our layers, to put them behind other things. So you can see here I can move Corinne's and it goes all the way behind our background. But if I bring it all the way back up to the top, you can see now that it's over everything. So if I take my balloons, I can put them even behind the square. So there's a lot that you can do in here, and it's very similar to working with things like Canva, like Cricut Design Space. So I don't want you to be intimidated. I hope you all picked up some tips and tricks on working with the new CreativeFabrica Studio. Like I said, any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. There is no silly question, and I am happy to help you guys and guide you along in your crafting journeys. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.